One Piece chapter 1028 has just released, and if you've read the chapter, you know how hyped this is and you know how many theories people are coming up with. So before I hop into the chapter, I just gotta say a quick thank you to everybody who liked last week's video, who commented, who subscribed. It really does mean a lot to me, and I appreciate all of you. You guys are the reason why I make these videos, and if you're new here, welcome in. If you like the content, consider subscribing down below. It truly does mean a lot as well. So without further ado, let's hop right into the chapter. If you guys have been here before, you know how we do it. We start from the beginning of the chapter, and then we will work our way onto the end. So, to start us off, we have CP0 talking about Mugiwara, Straw Hat, actually taking down Kaido. They don't believe it quite yet. They still think it is quite impossible, but the numbers are starting to shift onto the Straw Hat Alliance's side. We started off with 30,000 Beast Pirates, and now they have dwindled. They have dwindled to 12,000, a measly 12,000. Whereas the Straw Hat Alliance started at 5,000 and is now at 8,000. I don't know about you guys, but it looks like the Straw Hats are gaining more people as they go along. The main thing you can tell from looking at these numbers, like no matter how you cut it, Kaido lost 18,000 of his crew members, whether they got defeated or whether they went to the Straw Hat side. Those are 12,000 people that are gone. The samurai, on the other hand, you can't even tell how many people have fallen because the net ratio is positive. We have gained more people than we have lost, and that is insane to think about. And not to mention, the people that we got from the Beast Pirate side, these aren't just regular people. These are Smile users. These are people with modified devil fruits. These are no small-time players. So when you think of it like that, you can kind of reason why CP0 is like, you know what? Like, Kaido's really strong, but Luffy not only fought Big Mom and Whole Cake Island and, you know, caused a big ruckus among the world government, but he also has a lot of people on his side and they're kind of winning. So the possibility of Luffy winning is becoming more apparent. And with that being said, CP0 has, they've initiated the big guns, right? They're like, okay, we're going to send Rob Lucci there, we're going to send Kaku, we're going to send Stussy and some world government ships to Wano. And their main goal, they have two main goals. First, they want to ally with Wano Kuni. You gotta imagine, it's a closed-off country. It's a country that nobody has touched, a country that is rich with resources that could benefit the world government. So not only do they want an extra ally, they want its resources. And two, I think this is a horrible idea, but they want to capture Nico Robin. It didn't work the first time, it ended horribly for them, so they're like, you know what? Let's try it again. What a horrible idea. I do not know why CP0 thinks that they can kidnap Nico Robin. Like, back in Enies Lobby, the only reason why she got captured was because she gave herself up. She surrendered to CP9 because she thought that was the only way to save her crew. Now that we're post-time skip and Luffy has declared war against the world government, she has nothing to be afraid of. And not only that, but they're like 5-10 times stronger than they were pre-time skip. Not to mention, we have 8,000 people who are ready to fight for Nico Robin right when Straw Hat says, hey, let's fight CP0. Boom, like another war is gonna start. And let's say Kaido wins, like some crazy things happen, Kaido wins. Once Kaido finds out that Nico Robin can read the poneglyphs and that she's this giant danger to the world, he's gonna be like, you know what? I want to steal Nico Robin, because at the beginning of the Onigashima raid, Kaido announced that he wants to find all of the ancient weapons and start a massive war. So why would he not want to also kidnap Nico Robin? And then you have Big Mom, and her pirates are on the way up to Onigashima right now. And they would definitely fight for Nico Robin. She is the world's most precious person. The audacity of CP0, of Rob Lucci, the man that got beaten by Straw Hat in the beginning. The audacity of these people to think that they can easily take Nico Robin as if it was like a side mission, you know, like, oh, we're gonna ally with Wano, and we're also gonna take Robin because, you know, she's just there as well. The audacity that they think it's gonna be that easy is insane to me. But with that being said, everybody is going to be very worn out after this raid, so maybe they will stand some sort of a chance. But even then, we have a lot of people who can still fight tooth and nail and will fight for Nico Robin. But with that being said, here we have something that has been crafting many theories ever since it got released. So, right when CP0 announces that the world government ships are closing in on Wano, we get a shot of some ominous ships. You know, there's 3 or 4 of them. They're all sailing towards Wano. We do not know whose ships these are. These do not look like marine ships, and we have never really seen CP0 ships firsthand. So, people have been speculating, what if this is not CP0? What if it is the Grand Fleet instead? That would be insane. Remember those numbers we were talking about a minute ago? Kaido's group is leading them by 4,000 people. If the Straw Hat Alliance with 5,000 people show up, the Straw Hats will have a major advantage. And not only that, but those are 5,000 strong fighters who can take on CP0 and who can help stop them from taking Nico Robin. So that is the first theory that people have thrown out there. Another one is the Revolutionary Army. Why would they not want to go to Wano Kuni right now? They must have the same intel that the world government has. They know that Luffy is fighting Kaido, and once Kaido is defeated, Wano Kuni will be a free country. They know that the world government will try to take it over, and with that being the case, the revolutionaries would want to stop that as much as possible. But as I said in the beginning of all this, these could just be theories. These might actually be CP0 and world government ships. And if they are going to have a hell of a time coming up to Wano Kuni. And the main reason I'm saying that is because Orochi was the one who activated the secret passage to let CP0 initially come up to Wano Kuni without having to travel up the waterfall. So now these ships are going to have to climb it since Orochi is no longer at the capital and he's no longer, allied with Kaido. And guess who else is climbing up the waterfall as well? We have the Big Mom Pirates led by Smoothie, who, if you guys watched my last video, I think she's kind of a joke, but the Billion Berry Bounty is still not a joke. She's still gonna be very, very strong, albeit, she hasn't really done anything on screen, but still, fighting off-screen fodder could be her specialty. Real quick though, before we move on, I have to say a couple more things about these mystery ships we saw in this chapter. If you look at their design, it very much reminds me of the Straw Hat Fleet ships, specifically Orlumbus and his crew. So we have like a rectangular pattern on these mystery ships, and you could almost see the same rectangular pattern on Orlumbus's ships as well. Another popular theory that people have been spreading around is that this might be the red-haired pirates. It could be Shanks coming to play. Oda said that 2021 will have some crazy things with Shanks, and we have yet to see anything Shanks related, so it could be the red-haired pirates. I do not think so, because the red-haired pirate ship is very distinct, and they very much mimic, or they're kind of parallel to Luffy's group. Shanks has a small crew of very strong members. I can't see him rolling up with 10 different ships all together. That's not the kind of guy Shanks is, or at least not the kind of guy that Oda portrays him as. So I do not think Shanks would come up with 4 or 5 different ships. I feel like Shanks would just be his solo ship, and he'd head there right away, and it would be very noticeable. Another thing is that people have been saying this could be the Blackbeard Pirates. It's Blackbeard coming to steal Kaido's Devil Fruit and cause some havoc with CP0. Blackbeard ships, whether it be the commander ships or just the smaller ships, they are all very noticeable. It is the most unique ship design I've seen in One Piece. They're literally logs taped to a giant ship. So unless Blackbeard has changed up his design, I do not think this is Blackbeard either. So if I had to put my money on who it might be, it is either the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, it could be Dragon, or it might actually just be CP0. But whoever it might be, they're going to have a hell of a time coming up, like I said, because the Big Mom Pirates are going to be up that waterfall as well. One more thing before we move on, but I have to talk about Rob Lucci and how much of a potential threat he is to Wano. Because while I did say that a weakened Straw Hat might be able to take him on, and that the 8,000 pirates on Luffy's side might be able to take him on, he is still a menace. People are putting a lot of disrespect on his name, mainly because Luffy beat him pre-time skip, but you have to imagine that Lucci would not have been promoted to CP0 if he did not get stronger during the time skip as well. And even during the One Piece Stampede movie, Lucci was seen clashing with Sabo. And not only did he clash with Sabo, but he actually landed a pretty good hit on Bullet while he was in his final form. And that's not something that anyone could have done. That's something that Luffy did for sure in Gear 4th. That's something that Boa Hancock did. Crocodile, like, these are heavy hitters. And putting Rob Lucci on that scale, he's no joke. So with that being said, somebody powerful is going to have to handle him. whether that be Big Mom, whether that be Smoothie, or even Marco or the Revolutionary Army. We don't know quite yet. But all we know is that we do need some sort of backup, or else this is going to be a pretty, mid-diff to high-diff fight after they just finish their raid on Onigashima. And finally, on to the next part of the chapter. I'm so sorry that took so long. I feel like we could theory craft and talk about power scaling forever. But yes, on to the next panels. We have Brooke and Robin up and at it, and this is Oda essentially saying Robin is not a damsel in distress. She's not passed out, she's not unconscious, nobody has to save her. She can save herself and she can fight. And that's another reason why I'm saying that CP0 will not be able to take her so easily. So moving past that, we now have our obligatory Momonosuke panels. I feel like for the past 5 or so chapters, Oda has been pretty consistent in delivering us 1 or 2 pages dedicated to Momonosuke and his struggles. And in this chapter, he is currently struggling to create flame clouds. His are way too small in comparison to Kaido's. And with that being said, Yamato took off in her full beast form to find the explosives on Onigashima, so that if it does take a crash landing, if Momonosuke cannot create the flame clouds to save it, that it will at least not explode. This is definitely Oda's way of creating a lot of tension. Momonosuke has to overcome his fear of heights and create flame clouds, and Yamato is going to have a very close call finding the explosives if I had to guess. And with that being said, there are 5 minutes until Onigashima lands on Wano Kuni. But what if Luffy beats Kaido before the 5 minutes and Momonosuke is able to create these giant flame clouds and he ends up dropping it on top of the world government and CP0 ships? That would be a perfect conclusion. It would almost be like Dressrosa with how Fujitora dropped the rubble on the pirate ships to save the Straw Hats. So with that being said though, I do not think that Luffy will actually be able to beat Kaido before the 5-minute timer is up. I feel like it will be a very close fight, and Momonosuke will have to create some sort of giant flame cloud to save Onigashima and to save all the people of Wano Kuni. And just imagine, that is the perfect setup to having him become the next shogun of Wano. Like, not only does Momonosuke have the heritage of Kozuki, not only is he now a grown-ass man, but he's also a giant dragon, the opposite of Kaido, and he saved everybody's lives. That, my friends, is how you set up a shogun. So while that's going on, like I said before, Yamato is currently on the island looking for the explosives, and while that is happening, we catch a full glimpse of her beast transformation. And I have to say, I really like what Oda did here. The design of Yamato's hybrid form was very gnarly. It had the crazy sharp teeth, the insane eyes, and it was just very intimidating. It's something you would not want to approach or fight. And then here we have her beast transformation, and it's very beautiful, it's very delicate. It's something that you don't feel, threatened by. So yeah, I feel like this is Oda's way of keeping Yamato preoccupied for the rest of the arc, because let's be real here, Yamato is way too strong, and everybody who is weak and everybody who would get slapped by her is already defeated. All we have left are King, Queen, and Kaido, and Orochi, but let's be real. If Yamato ran into Orochi, that would be an instant KO. Like, he would probably lose to her Conqueror's Haki. But anyways, that's besides the point. I think this is going to keep Yamato preoccupied, and we will not see her again because she's just too much of a menace. So now, on to the meat of the chapter, the part I've been the most hyped to talk about. We have Sanji versus Queen. So the fight kicks off, literally, with Sanji defending himself from Queen's hybrid form. And dude, it's crazy when you think about it, like, Queen is somebody with a bounty of 1.3 billion berries. And Sanji, not even in his raid suit, not even with Diable Jambe, is just parrying his attacks and dodging it left and right. Like, that is a huge feat. Like, that is no joke. So Sanji is dodging, he's attacking, Queen is in the hybrid form, using his robotic body parts to attack Sanji and catch him off guard. And this has to be one of the most unique fights in One Piece, because Queen is a very unconventional fighter. Queen can shoot laser beams, missiles, detach limbs, shoot his head out like a snake, and Sanji is handling this very well. At some point, Sanji even activates Diable Jambe and kicks hybrid form Queen in the chest and turns this man into a patty fresh off the grill. So Sanji ends up handling hybrid form Queen so well, he almost forces him to go back to full Zoan form, because he's like, oh, how are you gonna injure this 100 million year old dinosaur? Like, you stand no chance against this giant tank. And then, right when I thought things couldn't get weird, Queen ends up striking a straight up Kaku pose out of Ina's lobby. And I'm just like, wait, what the heck is going on? Is he gonna like shoot his neck out? And when I thought he was gonna shoot his neck out, I thought he was gonna like go for a headbutt or, you know, something like that, or maybe shoot a laser out of his mouth. But this man, this man straight shot out his entire neck and wrapped around Sanji like a snake. It was so crazy that even I, in real life, had to pause and was like, whoa, what is going on here? I had the same reaction as Sanji when I first read this chapter, and I love that even the samurai are like, wait, how do we help Sanji here? Like, what do we do against this? Do we fight the body? Do we fight the snake? What is going on? My favorite part about this fight so far is just the fact that Queen acts like this is just normal. Like, if he didn't modify his body, his Zoan Devil Fruit would give him this ability anyways. Like, all dinosaurs just come equipped with detachable necks that can shoot out like snakes. I mean, Oda's not wrong though, right? Like, we know nothing about the dinosaurs and how they lived back then. Maybe this is what they actually did. We will never know. And maybe Oda's actually enlightened. So yeah, Sanji ends up getting squeezed by Queen's neck. And this is where Queen makes a giant blunder and starts using his voice-activated missile launcher. And it ends up shooting him just not once, but twice, to where he actually ends up letting go of Sanji. This is where we see zombie Sanji. This man with every bone essentially shattered in his body, barely walking. Granted, this man is still walking even though his bones are broken. And I'm just like, how is this happening? How is Sanji going to win? And then, all of a sudden, all of his bones snap back into place. He finally got the lineage factor. He finally got the abilities that his brothers and sisters have, which are his iron bones, his crazy regenerative speeds, and oh boy, this could not come at a better time. I was reading the comments and I see some people saying that this is a major ass pull, that Sanji should not have these abilities and it was never hinted beforehand. I would argue the exact opposite. I would say that Oda was actually foreshadowing these abilities for a very, very long time. Go back to the beginning of One Piece where we were first introduced to Sanji. Almost every major fight Sanji has, he breaks his bones. His fight against Gin, he got his ribs shattered. The fight against Bon Clay, he even, it could be a joke, but he does say, oh, I think I might have broken a couple bones here. During his fight against Virgo, dude, Sanji pretty much fractured his leg fighting him. And the thing with Virgo is that I remember I was, back in the day reading One Piece and I was so excited to see post-time skip Sanji putting in some feats. And then he ends up fighting Virgo and I was like, oh wow, he's mopping the floor with him. But at some point, Virgo ends up using Armament Haki on his leg, and so does Sanji. But even with Armament Haki, Sanji's leg still fractured. His bones were cracking. And I was like, what is happening? How could this be possible? He has Armament Haki. And then, with this chapter, it is now confirmed that Sanji's bones, even if they do break, they will snap back and they will rejuvenate. This has been foreshadowed for a very long time, and this might seem like a very small buff, like, oh, like his broken bones are healed, well, whatever. This is huge. Beforehand, even with Armament Haki, Sanji was still in fear of breaking his legs, breaking his ribs, and etc. Now he can go in at full power and not have to worry about that, because during that fight against Virgo, when Sanji noticed his leg was being broken, he actually had to kick him away to save his leg. Now that he is enhanced, he no longer has to worry about that. This is foreshadowing 101. How long has Oda known to give Sanji these abilities? Not to mention how hard his body has now become. Queen, hybrid form Queen, took a full thrust swing. He wound it up. He wound up that swing with his sword and it shattered on Sanji's neck. So this man, he can no longer be broken. He is a iron fortress. It is insane. Even without Armament Haki, I bet you couldn't even tell. You were like, whoa, like, is he activating Armament Haki, or is his body just that hard? Who knows? So now, the only upgrade we need left from Sanji is for Sanji to put back on that raid suit. He's trying to deny putting it on because Queen wants him to, but we all know that if this is going to be a high tier fight for Sanji, he's going to have to suck that up and wear that raid suit during this fight. And this is where I made this prediction a while ago. I'm going to make it again. but Sanji is going to be able to create black flames. If Oda has been foreshadowing Sanji getting this ability to not break his bones anymore, I'm also going to take the bet that Oda has been foreshadowing Sanji to get black flames. He is named Black Leg Sanji, and not to mention that all of his brothers and sisters have terms correlated with their color. You have sparkling red, Ichiji, you have electric blue, Niji, and you have green winch, Yonji. And now we're gonna have Black Leg Sanji, a man that can create black flames out of his legs. You could say, oh, but he's actually stealth black. But yes, that is what his family wants him to be. But Sanji's whole point, his whole character development, is that he is not what his family wants him to be. So what better way to do that than giving himself his own identity as Black Leg Sanji? I'm calling it. Sanji is unlocking black flames during this fight when he next puts on that raid suit. Also, one more thing to add to Oda's foreshadowing list on Sanji, but back in Whole Cake Island when Reiji was talking to him, she even mentioned that Sanji was a late bloomer. And here we have it. His abilities that have been building up inside of him for so long are finally coming out. And boy, it is much, much needed. Post time skip Sanji, I want to say, I was really impressed because he had observation haki and armament haki and all that. But out of everybody, I expected more from him. And when I saw him fight Virgo and, his legs were breaking, I was like, oh no, like, is this really it? Is this where Sanji caps off? He couldn't even defend himself against Doflamingo, albeit he was injured, but he still couldn't really defend himself. But here we are. Sanji is now fighting a man worth 1.3 billion berries. And not only did he just shatter his sword with his neck, he is doing pretty big damage on him. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video and making it up until this point. It really does mean a lot that you made it here. It would help if you guys like the video and subscribe and comment down below. It would mean the world. And there is a break next week, so unfortunately I won't be here, but the week after that, expect us in full swing. And who knows, I might even make a video next week as well, maybe discussing Wano and possibilities of who might actually come and what they might actually be able to do. But until then, I'll catch you guys next time. My name is Sai, and thanks for coming in.